This is the send snail mail function in the Automarketer. It's brand new, and now it allows you to send out postcards, both small postcards and large postcards. It also allows you to send out letters that have window envelopes, and it also allows you to send out self-mailers, fold-up self-mailers. And I'm going to show you what those look like in a minute. The billing on this works a little bit differently, so make sure you check out how billing works. It'll explain a little bit about this process. Essentially, it's going to charge you from your account, but if you run out of money in the account, it's going to go ahead and charge you the extra amount for whatever the balance is. Sending snail mail costs quite a bit more than sending out text messages. So my suggestion before you start sending snail mail is you understand how to convert leads. If you understand how to convert leads, it's going to be a lot cheaper for you in the long run, and the snail mail makes sense. I love snail mail. It gives me great leads, but those leads are expensive. You're going to end up costing you anywhere from $10 to $40 per lead. I see the average being around $20 per lead coming in on these types of things. That's not bad if it takes, if you get 10 leads and you're able to put one deal together, it cost you $200 for a deal that made you $10,000. Not a bad number at all. But if you don't know how to convert these leads, I would strongly suggest that you start with both Zillow and with Craigslist using text blasts and using that system first. One of the things that this particular system does, it allows you to either upload your own list of leads. So let's say you wanted to go out and buy some absentee owner leads or some expired listing leads. You can upload those leads through the lead management system or through this page, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then you can select those leads and send out a blast of postcards or letters to those leads to their snail mail address. There's also a way to create a drip campaign using the letters and postcards that we have that you could send to people over a period of time, on any length of time that you chose. And at the end of this video, I'll go in and explain how to create a follow-up campaign that includes these snail mail pieces that we've got. The limitation to the system right now is that you can't create your own snail mail piece. You have to use the pieces that we have. We have about 15 different pieces at the moment, and we're going to be adding more. So if you're watching this video after we create those, there may be more of them. So keep that in mind as you go. We've tried to pick the very best pieces that we could find, the ones that we think are going to get us the best response, but you have to test them to see which one works the best in your area. And I would suggest maybe sending out 100 to 500 at a time so you can get a good idea of whether they're going to work or not. But if you want, you can send out as few as one. And I think that's the beauty of this system, which I've never seen in any other mailing system out there that allows you to send out, one-off postcards whenever you choose to. And you could create a campaign, a follow-up campaign, if you want to continue to send a specific person a series of these different mailings. You can do that as well. So let's get into actually how to create a job. And each one of these is a different job that I've done in the past. But let's just create a brand new job. There's going to be a three-step wizard that's going to walk you through the process. The first thing you do, let's call this one test 10, for want of a better number. And the phone number that you put in here, I would suggest that you use a local number, a number that's in your phone system. Find a phone system number or create a new phone number because you can buy as many different phone numbers as you want, and pick a phone number that's local to the area that you're mailing to. So if I'm going to send out a blast to absentee owners in Indianapolis, I'd want to use a 317 area code. So I'd use a 317 area code from my phone system. That way, when people get the letter from us, it's going to have this phone number on it, and if they call that phone number, and that phone number is one of these system phone numbers, then it will actually create a lead inside the CRM, inside the lead management system, and you'll have that lead in there, and you'll get an email saying this lead was created, and any message that they might leave. So picking the right phone number can make all the difference. You just want to make sure that you pay attention, because whenever you get a lead coming in, it's going to send you an email, it's going to send you a transcription of the voicemail that they sent, or if they send a text, they're going to be able to send you a text as well, and you're going to get the text information. You're also going to get, if it's a voicemail, an MP3 file recording, so you can listen to it, because sometimes transcriptions can be a little wonky since we're using Google transcription services. The other things you need to put in here is your name, your mailing address. This is your return address, and your city and state. And I use a mailbox, like a mailboxes, etc. I understand that the post office now is allowing you to have a street address, although it'll be the street address of the post office with a number instead of saying P.O. box, because people want to see, instead of a P.O. box here, they want to see a real address. If you want to put your organization in here, that's okay too. You can put your that in there. And then as you scroll down the page, you're going to start to see the postcards. And you can choose large-sided documents, large double-sided postcards, small double-sided postcards, self-mailers, or letters in envelopes. So you can see any one of those, or you can see all of them. I'm just going to take a look at a couple of them here. Here's a postcard, a large 5x8 double-sided postcard. If I want to preview it, I click on the preview button, and I'll be able to see both sides of this postcard. Now, you can also see that each one of these postcards has merge information. So it's going to show our first name, last name. It's going to show the lead's first name, last name, your first name, last name, hello, first name of the lead, and then it's going to have investors' information, an email and phone number here. It's going to have all this information filled out, so it makes it clear. And it makes it easy to send this stuff out. So what you might want to do is go through here and read the different postcards, see which one you like the best or you think might be most compelling for the people that you've got, and then choose that particular postcard or letter. Now, here's a letter, 8 by 8.5 by 11 letter that's sent in a window envelope. And again, you can preview it and read the text of that. Unfortunately, we're not set up so that you can modify these at this time, and that's mainly because of the API that we're using with the service that sends out this mail for us, because we don't send the mail out. We go through a mailing service that does that. Also, there's a self-mailer that's both sides, and it folds up in a 3-fold, and then the address is on it, so it can go directly to people. It's got a little piece of tape or a little label or whatever that holds it together when people get it. I think these send in envelope packages are quite nice, because when you get them, they don't have a lot of information on the outside. It's a window envelope. People open window envelopes. They want to know if it's a bill. So they open window envelopes. It looks like real business, so that's helpful. On the other hand, postcards are nice because it's got the information right on the outside. They can sort it while they're looking at it over the trash and sorting their mail. They can see that, and they can read it, and they can get the gist of what you're trying to do. And if it grabs their attention, they'll contact you. In addition to this preview button, there's also a cost estimate button. And if you click on this button, it'll tell you what it costs to send this postcard out. And if you send less than 500, it's 95 cents, and the printing gets cheaper as you buy more. The postage stays the same for that particular size of postcard, and you can calculate if I know I want to send out 1,500 of them, or let's say I want to send out 11,150 of them, or 11,500 of them. It'll show me that it's 36 cents, so it's actually cheaper than the 5,000 rate because I'm sending out a lot more of them. Most of you are going to be sending out, under 500, but some of you are going to be sending out larger batches as well. So keep in mind what it's going to cost you to do that, and that's going to give you a pretty good idea of what your cost per mailing is going to be. And these costs, these prices are pretty competitive with all the mailing services out there. We're not making a profit to speak of on these. We're just trying to make it so that you can use it in a way that makes sense and make it part of this system. After you get that information, so you're going to pick the postcard that you want. Let's say I want this postcard. This is the information I want to be pasted on the postcard. And then I'm going to tell it what leads to send it to. And I've got a couple of options here. One is I can upload a CSV file. That's an Excel file, comma separated variable file. This is the layout of the Excel file that you need to set it up in, and the columns. If you upload it this way, it's only going to send it out one time, and it's not going to put it into the lead management system. If you want to put it into the lead management system, you can upload by going to lead management, and in lead management you can import the leads here. So when you upload here, it's just a one-time mailing. If you want them in your management, and the only way the phone number that I talked about, if you use one of the system phone numbers, the only way that happens is if you upload them in the lead management, not here. So keep that in mind as you're doing it. I suggest you put everything into lead management, but not everybody wants to do it that way. So if you put them in lead management and you import through that, you can give them a tag, and it makes them easy to find, so that when you go into search leads, you can search your CRM, your lead management system, and you can pull it up by the tags that you want to send to, and you can just click on the tags that you want to send it to. Right now in this system, there's 442 properties that have something filled in the address section of them. So I'm going to show you how those work. If this address isn't right, we don't want it sending out. So we've put a system in here that verifies the address, and you can do it manually by clicking on verify, and it'll show this is a valid address. It's checking the U.S. Postal Service to make sure that address is deliverable, and that will work. If it doesn't have a name in the system, then it'll just say homeowner, dear homeowner, instead of dear first name. If I need to change that, or if I know the homeowner's name, I could type it in here as well. Now, you don't have to verify each one of these addresses. The system is going to verify them for you, and it's going to send it to the ones that are all valid addresses. It's going to look for duplicates and only send it to one address if it's a duplicate, and that can save you a ton of money right there. I know that since I have a lot of real estate, I get postcards like these all the time, almost every day. And sometimes I'll get 5 or 6 postcards from the same person because they send them to different LLCs that I have, all to the same address. And so if they spend $1 a piece for those, it costs them $5 to send me, one postcard, which I sort of automatically drop into the trash because I don't sell my properties. I keep my properties. So you can go down here and you can verify each one of them if you want, or you can leave it blank, or you can update the address and add more information to it. One other thing to keep in mind, if you didn't upload these leads, if you want to use scraped leads, the automarketer is able to scrape Zillow, and Zillow has the address. Craigslist doesn't have the address, so you can't send postcards to Craigslist because there's no address in there unless you manually put it in. But Zillow will scrape the address, and you'll be able to send it to the Zillow leads as well, which is what most of these are here. We haven't uploaded other leads to this particular account. So once you've picked your leads, once you've picked the postcard that you want to send to and put in your return address, then you go to step number 3. And step 3 is going to give you a couple of different options here. One is, first of all, calculate the job cost. So if you click on this button, it's going to give you how much it's going to cost to send this out. And if you don't select a document in step 1, then it's going to ask you to do that. Let's go back here and do that. Now when I click on this, it's going to calculate it. So it's going to show me that 430 are going out. Now if I go back here, remember there are 442, but it's looking at how many of those are valid addresses, and it's telling me that 430 of them are valid. And the total cost to send those out will be $409.36. So now that you know how much it's going to cost, then you're going to either save and hold the job, or you're going to save and submit. Once you do this, you can't go back in and edit it. All you can do is submit it after that. So you want to make sure that you pick all the information, have all the information you need later. I think it usually makes sense to save and hold the job most of the time. That way you can go back and look at it and make sure you set it up properly, and then submit it when you're ready. So I'm going to hit save and hold on this job. Do you want to continue? It's going to say yes. It's not going to charge you for anything when you save and hold. You don't have to worry about that. When you save and send, it's going to charge you. And if you've got a $409 cost on this, it's going to go look at your account and see if you have it set up to spend, let's say, $20 a day. Then it's going to actually charge you for the balance of whatever it is you have left in your account. So it's probably going to charge you the full $400 right then and there with your card. If you're only sending out a few postcards, this loading process won't take very long at all. But if you're sending out more of them, give it time. It usually takes a couple of minutes to go through about 500 of them like this. Okay, I had it on pause for a minute, and when it was done doing its job, it brought me back to step 1. So I can go back here and I can see that there's a 5x8 postcard, double-sided postcard. It's in the status, is in editing right now. All these details. Now you only see one postcard here. You don't have others to choose from. You can't change the postcard after you've set it up, or after you've saved it like that. The next thing here is you're going to see all the postcards that are just going to go out to. If I go down here and you're going to see that it still has 442, but the system already discovered that it had 430, so you're going to have fewer that go out. But it's going to go verify all these again before it sends them out when you submit the job. And then at this point, this changes, just you only have one button, so you can send out submit to these people here. Now let's go back to the dashboard. And you'll see here that the on the dashboard, this is test number 10, the one that I just set up, and it's ready to be submitted. So if I click on submit, it's going to send it to 379 addresses, and it found 51 invalid addresses on this system. So the $409, that was based on the 400 and I can't remember the exact number that it was before. So it's not based on this 379. And it's only going to charge you for what it actually sends. So this number is just an estimate. Keep that in mind. If I want to look at how it's set up, I can hit Edit Job, and it'll take me back to what I just showed you. Or if I don't want to send this one out, I can hit the trash can button, and it'll delete this one. Or if I hit Submit, then it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to do this? And here's, it's going to charge your card for it. I'm not going to send these out right now, but there's also the ability to test. Let me show you one more thing. I'm going to go back into Create a New Job. And this last thing here you can do is send a test job. So if I click on this, it'll ask me, where do I want to send this test job? So put your own return address in it, and put your own mailing address in it. And that way it'll send you that postcard. And what I did as I was testing this is I tested each one of these as a separate deal, and I had each one of these postcards sent to me so I could see what it looks like when it comes in the mail, and make sure that it's filled out properly and that everything looks copacetic for it. And you could do the same thing if you wanted to. Each one of these will cost you about $1 a piece to send out, so you can have a feel for it. Or if there's just one, if you just want to look at one, you can send out one, and that's okay too. And then once you're there, just hit save and submit job, and it'll send out that, that postcard to you. Okay, that's all I have to show you with this particular system, but I want to show you how you can send out a drip campaign, follow-up campaign, while I'm here with snail mail. So go to follow-up campaigns. In follow-up campaigns, you can create a new drip campaign. So create a campaign. Let's call this snail mail. And let's create a new category. I'm going to add a category. I'm going to call it snail mail. On this one, I'm not going to have a campaign exit, and it's going to be just mail. So I'm going to turn off these other things, but I'm going to leave it active. This is going to ask me the return address, the same as on the send snail mail section. And I'm going to save the campaign. Okay, once the campaigns is saved, now I can start adding I can add mailings to the campaign. So I'm going to create an event, and it's already got one set up that I can do. I'm going to call this mail 1, and I'm going to put this so that it doesn't loop. It's a one-time deal. I'm going to make it active. It's going to go just to the lead. I'm going to have this set up so that as soon as I activate it, it's going to send it out immediately. Rather than later in the date, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pick mail. Before I pick the type of mail that I want to send out, I'm going to say save this event. Now I'm going to create the new message. Now I can either use the drop down, and I can pick different types of messages that are here. Or I can create a new message, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to pick mail. And now what's happened is I have the opportunity to pick which postcard I want to send, or mailer that I want to do. Let's say I want to send out the self-mailer. I'll save that. And now this particular event is sending out this particular self-mailer. What I need to do then is save it. And that's event number 1. If I want to now send out another one next week, I can create a new event, and we call this mail 2. And we can do the same thing. It's not going to be an infinite loop. It's not going to be this. It's not going to send immediately. So we're going to start it. Let's say we'll send it out 7 days later. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to pick, I want to send out a mail. I create a new message. I'm going to pick mail, and let's say I'll send this one out as the second one. Then I want to save the campaign. So now I have about both of them going, and you want to check these because you see this says infinite. I said, oops, I actually did it as an infinite loop. I don't want to do that. I just want it to go out one time. So I've changed that. I'll save it again. And make sure when you save down here, not up here. This saves your campaign, but you want to save your event. So if you're modifying your event, save down here. And it'll show that this is no longer infinite. It's just a one-time mailing. So this will go out on as soon as you apply this campaign to a lead. 7 days later, the second message will go out. Now, let me show you real quickly, since I've got you here, how to apply this campaign. You're going to go to the lead management page. And you can go into any of the leads to get this information too, and I believe we call this in snail mail. So we'll add that campaign, and when I save it, it's going to send to this person these two messages. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how you add it. So that's Send Snail Mail. It's a very powerful tool, and it can do a lot. Sending snail mail can be a very powerful way to contact people and to get more leads. Just keep in mind that it is more expensive, and if you don't have the skill yet of talking to sellers and putting those deals together, that's something you maybe should focus on first with less expensive leads like Zillow and Craigslist. All right, I hope that helps.